everyone. Would you like another story? I've found a great story about a rabbit. No ordinary rabbit. This one's a naughty rabbit. This is the tale of a naughty little rabbit, Peter Rabbit. This one was written by Beatrix Potter. Shall we see what the blurb says on the back? There aren't many stories about naughty rabbits. That's because rabbits usually know how to behave themselves. But not this one. This naughty little rabbit becomes quite fat after sneaking under a gate and stumbling into a huge vegetable patch. This is the story of Peter Rabbit, the most famous rabbit ever. Let's open our book and start our story and see what he's been up to. In a snug little burrow beneath a tall fir tree in the heart of the wood lived a family of rabbits. There was Mrs. Rabbit and her 3 little daughters, Flopsy, Mopsy and Cottontail, who were all as good as gold. And then there was Peter. Here he is. Look at him. Oh, he's a naughty little rabbit, wearing his smart new coat. Today, Mrs. Rabbit had some shopping to do. You can play outside while I'm gone, she said to her children. But remember, stay away from Mr. McGregor's garden. Mr. Rabbit had visited once and never came back. There's a picture of a pie. I don't know why. While Mrs. Rabbit was out, Flopsy, Mopsy and Cottontail busied themselves like good little bunnies, picking wild blueberries for tea. But not Peter. He ran straight into Mr. McGregor's garden. Here he is, look, one naughty little rabbit, squeezing himself under the gate. First, Peter ate some juicy, fresh lettuce. Uh-oh. And then he nibbled some spicy red radishes. And then he gobbled some crunchy green beans. Soon, Peter's tummy began to feel a little bit funny. He looked around for some parsley, but instead he found Mr. McGregor. Peter turned and ran as fast as his little rabbit legs would carry him, but Mr. McGregor chased after him, waving a rake and shouting, "Stop, thief!" Poor Peter was very frightened. In his panic, he couldn't remember the way back to the garden gate. He ran back and forth all over the garden with Mr. McGregor close behind him. Here he is, look, one naughty little rabbit running for his life. As Peter dashed through the vegetable patch, one of his shoes came off. Peter kept running. He lost his other shoe in the potatoes. Without his shoes, Peter ran even faster. Straight into the net around the gooseberry bushes. The big brass buttons of Peter's blue coat got tangled up, and suddenly Mr. McGregor appeared over him. "You wretched little rabbit, I'll have you for my dinner," growled Mr. McGregor. Peter wriggled and squirmed to set free. And just before Mr. McGregor could trap him, Peter escaped. "Maybe I'll be safe in the tool shed," thought the scared little rabbit. A big green watering can seemed like the perfect hiding place, until Peter discovered how much water there was inside. But Mr. McGregor had followed him to the tool shed, and he began turning over flower pots one at a time, searching for Peter. All of a sudden, he heard a rabbity sneeze from inside the watering can. Poor Peter was out of the can in a flash. He ran as fast as his little rabbit legs would carry him. He found his way at last back to the garden gate. Finally, Peter was safe in the wood again. He ran all the way home without stopping. Mr. McGregor found the 2 shoes and new blue coat that Peter had left behind, and he made them into a scarecrow to frighten away the birds. Back in the snug burrow, Mrs. Rabbit was not at all pleased that Peter had lost his shoes and coat. That evening, Flopsy, Mopsy, Cottontail had a delicious feast of bread and milk and freshly picked blackberries. And Peter? Mrs. Rabbit put him straight to bed without any supper, only a spoonful of chamomile tea to settle his aching tummy. Here he is, look, one naughty little rabbit feeling rather sorry for himself. Don't you feel sorry for him too? And that is the end of our story. Thank you for joining me to read all about the naughty little rabbit. Take care, lots of love. See you next time. Bye.